Hey man, bloody bugger, you want to name your band, huh? Man, why are you asking me, man? Bloody today you want me to name your bloody band, tomorrow you'll bloody give me your firstborn Aulad and you'll tell me bloody name my child, man. Hey man, think of your own man name, bloody band, bloody band. Sure man, bloody. Hey guys, how you doing? Welcome to my band building videos. I've been wanting to do this for a while and I've been part of the music industry in India for about 15 years now, and I've kind of seen most of the issues that bands face with, and I've kind of got tired of explaining and saying the same things to every new band that asks me a question. So I figured this is a good resource to have, rather than constantly message me on Facebook. There is a lot of information here that will be helpful to bands. So I thought, why not? Let's do this. So today I wanted to talk about naming your band. Now it's funny, over the years bands have actually messaged me and asked me to help them come up with names, and I've never really understood why, because for me naming a band has always been almost an easy or a very natural process. I haven't struggled too much with coming up with a name. So for me I've not really understood the difficulty of coming up with a good band name. But obviously that was 15 years ago, and now the scene has changed. There are so many more bands. The number of names that are available are less. If you look at the international scene also, you will see the trend in band names, going from simple one word names like Metallica, Megadeth, Slayer, to probably like two word names like Fear Factory or I can't think of anything else right now. Fear Factory or The Haunted, or you get the picture. Flesh God Apocalypse, Demonic Resurrection, and then of course it went to even longer names. I Wrestled a Bear Once, and Bring Me the Horizon, and Arsonists Get All the Girls. So there's obviously a trend when it comes to band names as well, just like with music. So here are a couple of tips that I think will help you in selecting a band name. Point 1, pick a name that suits the kind of music you play. Now obviously this is applicable to any genre of band, but you want a name that's going to reflect the kind of music you play. If you're writing quirky, funny, jumpy music, you don't want a really morose sounding band name. Or if you're playing death metal, you don't want to be called the Pink Pussycats or some shit like that. Man, bloody, this one time I bloody saw this band called the bloody Pink Panther, man. I thought some bloody nice jazz chords they'll play, and then man, bloody, I went, a bloody band was bloody playing all growling noise, man, like sound like a bloody dog barking. So obviously you want a band that reflects the music and the identity. Like when you read the band name, you should kind of get that idea of what it symbolizes. So when you, take a band name like Behemoth, the word conjures up something grand, majestic, and that's exactly what the band is like. Something like Cannibal Corpse, you just think of gore and grotesque, and that's exactly what they deliver. So think about your music, think about the kind of image you want to portray, and then sort of look for names within that space, and I think you should not have too much difficulty then. Point number 2, try and pick a name that's not too hard to remember or too complicated, because at the end of the day, the amount of information out there in the world is too much. People's attention spans and IQs are going down, I think, sometimes. So you want a name that's obviously intelligent, but at the same time still not so complicated that somebody has a tough time remembering it, like some funny words in some foreign language that most people will not get. Man, these band names, sometimes they're so difficult to remember. It sounds like a bloody chemistry class, man. Like some hydrogenated, oxygenated, pollinated to think some what names. And then there are all these bloody bands, man. All these bands that take these like medical words and all, man. Like diarrhea of the cha-cha-cha. I'm like, man, I can't remember, man. Keep simple name, man. Call your band Bon Jovi, man. Easy, man. That's so simple. So think about that. I think trying to find a balance between intelligent, not being too pretentious, and something not too wordy or verbose will help. Point number 3, and this one's important given that you're in the age of technology and the internet is everything. Try and come up with a band name that's easily searchable on Google or any other search engine for that matter, because if you have a name that's a really common word, you're going to be buried under tons of other search results. So finding your band will be tough. For example, there was a band in Bombay called Black. Well, they still exist, obviously, Black. And every time you try and find that band online, it's impossible. So finally, they made the smart move of changing the spelling to BLAKC. So I would think, it makes sense to kind of think of that when you're naming the band. Now, obviously, somebody must be going, hey, but there are bands like Death and Slayer and other common words used as band names. And yes, that's fine, because that was back in the day where you weren't really thinking of a band name based on how easily you're going to find it on Google. And obviously those bands now have a legacy. So when you type Death Band, you will find everything you need to, because they have a 20-30 year history as a band. So don't compare it to that stuff. Just kind of think of now. Like, you need a band name that's going to be easily remembered and easily searchable now. Point 4. I have a bit of a mixed thought on this. Try and not have a band name that's too controversial. This works both ways. One, that it gets you press, and obviously there's a lot that can be done publicity wise. On the other hand, you could always end up in a lot of trouble and with a lot of headache that you may not necessarily want. An interesting example is Rotting Christ. Obviously they are a big band now and that name is stuck with them, but they did have to face problems here and there because of it. Again, if it's something you really believe in and if you're convinced about, definitely go for it. But if you're living in India like I am, you might want to think twice before you name your band Anal Pussy Cuntfuckers or some shit like that. Anyway, that's just my opinion on it. So those are the points I have. And another suggestion I have is, if you're a band, especially work with your bandmates. A good exercise to do is to sit down together and just write random names on paper and sort of put it in a bowl and pick and start to decide and talk about those names and see what works for the band. You could also keep a thesaurus handy, which helped me when I was naming Demonic Resurrection, because I knew what I wanted. I knew I wanted something with demons and with the devil and that kind of stuff. That Lord of the Rings imagery was in my head. So I sat down and I had a thesaurus, and the word resurrection came to me from there, and it made beautiful sense to me. Demonic resurrection, So think of that, keep a thesaurus handy. Otherwise, if you're totally fucked and you have no idea what to do, just go to Google and look for a band name generator and just find a band name. Anyway, so I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave me a comment below if you have any more suggestions, tips or ideas on how people can come up with good band names. Leave them below in the comments. If you're in a band, if you've got some problems, if there are things you want to know which you don't have answers to, leave me a comment below and I will try and make a video on that subject, because that's the purpose of these videos, is to answer your questions and then have this resource available to other bands as well. So thank you for watching. Please give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I will see you on the next band building episode, workshop, video. Well, whatever I want to call these things now. Cheers. Hey, rascal!